Today we're going to talk about 5 things that are stopping you from losing visceral fat. Visceral fat is the kind of fat that is deep inside your body, in your abdominal cavity, deep in your belly. And a little bit is normal. About 10% of your total body fat should be visceral fat, and it's healthy, but a lot of it is very, very dangerous. And the first thing that keeps you from losing visceral fat is overeating. Now, visceral fat expands naturally when you consume too many calories. Your body fat, visceral fat, is a place to store energy. And so when you overeat, all those calories go in, they get stored into your body fat, including your visceral fat. And this is true whether you're eating junk food or healthy food. Overload of calories is very, very harmful. That's right. You can even overeat healthy food. You know, whole foods, including fruits and vegetables, nuts and legumes and seeds, healthy oils, seafood. That's right. Overeating healthy food is also not good for you. But what's worse is overeating junk food, especially ultra-processed foods. It's a much, much worse because now you're putting so-called empty calories into your body. You get the energy, but you don't get any of the polyphenols or the dietary fiber that whole foods actually give you. So step number 1, if you want to lose visceral fat, do not overeat. Now, how do you do this? How do you avoid overeating? Well, I'm going to give you 3 practical tips. Tip number 1, take smaller portions when you're putting food onto your plate, right? It's up to you. You get the food, you're taking the spoon or fork on and putting on your plate. Keep about 2/3 of the plate empty, all right? Lots of white space. Number 2, never feel like you have to clean your plate. You know that old saying about the Clean Plate Club and there are starving people in every part of the world? Look, quit that club. That came during World War I and then World War II as a way of actually trying to save food for the troops. Today, there's too much food. There's overabundance of food. And when you get it on your plate, okay, you shouldn't put it on yourself. But if somebody else puts it on for you, don't feel obliged to finish it, all right? There's a good chance if you do that, you're just going to go overeat, all right? And that will make it hard to lose visceral fat. And the third tip about not overeating is to follow the old Confucian rule. That's called Hara Hachi Bun Mi. Hara Hachi Bun Mi is a Japanese saying from the Confucian principle of stopping your food, stop eating, when you're 80% full. All right? Well, how do you do this? You say, like, I don't know how to do 80%. Well, if you eat slowly and you get in touch with your own body, by eating slowly, your stomach will actually fill. When it gets close to that 80% mark, it's going to be releasing a hormone called leptin. It's going to go to your brain and it's going to signal your brain, hey, slow down. We are getting full. So this will allow you, by slowing down eating and by being in touch with your body, to know when your hunger has been satisfied, but you're not full, right? Most of the time, we are kind of conditioned to eat until we're really full, and then we take it a few steps extra, and now we're uncomfortably full, we're stuffed. No, don't do that. Just eat slowly until your brain signals to you that, we're actually done. That's about 80% full. Before I tell you the second thing that keeps you from losing visceral fat, let's talk about why you want to lose visceral fat. Visceral fat is located deep inside your body, okay? And when visceral fat grows, it can be highly inflammatory. And that's the last thing you want in your body, is a chunk of fat that is inflamed. Now, this fat expands when you overeat, and as it expands inside your belly cavity, it can wrap itself around your organs like a baseball glove. And what it does is it compresses them, and inflammation from the fat itself bleeds over into the organs, and that's not what you want. That can cause organ damage. And the more the visceral fat grows, the more highly inflamed it actually becomes. And the reason that happens is because healthy fat, like any kind of fat, requires, and any kind of tissue, in fact, requires a blood supply in order to stay alive, right? Living tissue requires circulation, oxygen, and nutrients. It needs a blood vessel system. And when visceral fat also has this blood vessel system, but if it grows too fast, all right, and it outstrips its blood supply, the center of it actually becomes starved of oxygen. That's called hypoxia. And when tissues in your body are starved of oxygen, they become hypoxic. Guess what happens? They become inflamed. And so that's why rapidly growing visceral fat that occurs when you overeat okay, rapidly expands, becomes hypoxic in the middle, and that actually triggers inflammation. Now, inflammatory excess visceral fat is one of the most dangerous things that you can have in your body. It's a setup for type 2 diabetes. It's a setup for many different kinds of cancer, for heart disease, and even dementia. There's a lot of research that links excess visceral fat with all these chronic diseases. So you want to avoid excess visceral fat. Now, how do you know if you have too much? Well, to measure it, you actually need to get a scan called a DEXA scan, or a dual energy X-ray absorptiometry scan, DEXA. And this scan measures the different types of tissue in your body, your bone, your muscle, your fat, okay? And it tells you where that tissue is located, how much of it there is. So from research that's already been done, we know that your body has normal healthy fat, and of that fat, only 10% of it should be visceral fat. That's what you need to actually survive. But when you start exceeding that amount, all right, your belly is going to bulge. And when you see somebody with a beer gut, that's because a lot of that visceral fat inside the cavity of the belly has been growing, and it pushes out the belly from the inside out. All right, it's like pregnancy with a mound of fat. And if you can't get a DEXA scan, an easy way to assess whether you're gaining visceral fat is really check your belt size, your waist size. Because when visceral fat grows, it actually expands your waist circumference. All right, that's the length around your waist, and your belt size. You're going to need bigger pants. You're going to need bigger clothes, and your belt loop is going to actually get loosened up. All right. So if you need to expand your belt or you need bigger clothes, you're probably growing visceral fat. You don't even need to go on a scale to take a look at that. A second thing that stops you from losing visceral fat is midnight snacking. Now, this is very common, right? You finish your dinner, sit on a couch to read or watch television or whatever you do, and then you reach out and grab a snack, and you just start snacking on it and eating it all night long, okay? Or maybe you just go get a bite to eat before you go to bed. Well, all that last bit of food before sleep or after dinner interferes with your body's natural ability to burn down visceral fat, which occurs when you are asleep. The thing, though, is that your body will only burn down visceral fat when your insulin levels are low. So as long as you're putting food in your mouth, okay, you're putting in sugar, you're putting in carbs, your insulin is going to rise to be able to take in that energy, and that's going to interfere with your body's time, and has overnight, to be able to reduce visceral fat. Because once you eat, let's say you get a midnight snack, all right, right before bedtime, boom, now your insulin goes up. It takes a little while for that insulin to come back down. And as long as that insulin is up, your body's not going to be burning visceral fat. So you've lost time, all right? So that's why eating a late night snack cuts into the time that you're burning down the amount of visceral fat. So you're missing out on the game. All right. A third thing that keeps you from burning visceral fat is being sedentary, all right? You know what that means, couch potato, right? And here's the thing, moving your body burns energy, burns calories, and movement burns visceral fat. Now, you don't need to join a gym or have a trainer. Just even taking a 30-minute walk at any point in the day, and I suggest after dinner, okay, can be really helpful. And look, if it's raining outside, you don't have to go outside. You can walk around your house. If you're in an apartment, you can even walk stairs. It's the physical activity that counts, all right? Now, it's even better if you do work out, because you're going to burn even more calories when you're exercising, much more than when you're walking. But walking is fine, and it's a great start. And anybody who says, I can't exercise or you have trouble exercising, don't worry. Just go walking. That's a good start. Now, living a couch potato lifestyle is guaranteed to stop you from burning excess harmful inflammatory visceral fat. So here's a little tip. If you need some motivation to move or to exercise or go for a walk, here's what I suggest. Call up a friend, do it with a friend or a family member or a partner in order to make your movement social. That way you're getting something out of it, and so is somebody else, and you're helping their health as well. Now, a fourth thing that keeps you from losing visceral fat is eating ultra-processed foods. This might seem like a no-brainer, right? Because ultra-processed foods contain added sugar, unhealthy fats, artificial preservatives and colorings and flavorings, all the things that interfere with a healthy metabolism. right? And you need a healthy metabolism to burn down visceral fat. So when you have ultra-processed foods, it damages your gut microbiome, which you need for your metabolism, and your gut microbiome also lowers inflammation. So now if you damage that gut microbiome, now your inflammatory levels are going to go up in your body. The other thing you should realize is that ultra-processed foods are really easy to overeat. Remember, I told you that's the first thing you don't want to do is overeat. And that's because many ultra-processed foods are engineered, designed to make you crave eating a lot of it. It's engineered for your brain to respond to the taste and the flavor, okay, to want to eat a lot of it. If you overindulge in those ultra-processed foods, not only are you loading up on too many extra calories, but you're also loading up on all those other harmful additives that are actually going to interfere with your body's ability to burn visceral fat. Okay, so what do you do instead? Well, what I recommend is that you eat healthy plant-based whole foods as your primary source of foods, because the polyphenol, the fiber that you're going to actually get is going to be from those whole foods are going to fuel your metabolism and feed your gut microbiome. That's what sets you up for burning down visceral fat. So cut down or cut out eating ultra-processed food.
Hey, just something real quick. If you're enjoying this video, then you'll want to check out my free guide on burning down body fat. Unlike the huge amounts of weight loss that fad diets promise, my free guide shows that healthy weight loss is realistic, achievable, and sustainable for just about everyone. In Burning Down Body Fat, I share 5 of the best foods that you'll want to eat right now if you want to fight harmful body fat. And I walk you through how these foods actually work to improve your metabolism. So get the guide right now. It's free in the caption below. Now, back to the video.
One last one. 5th thing that keeps you from losing visceral fat is poor sleep. And there's a metabolic reason for this. You know, you've heard about this. 8 hours of sleep is actually good for your body. It's actually true. 8 hours gives your body plenty of time to use that sleep time to shift your metabolism into a gear to burn down harmful inflammatory visceral fat, extra calories, anything else that your body doesn't need. You actually burn down fat while you are actually sleeping. All right. Now, the key thing is that this burning down of visceral fat only happens when you're actually having quality sleep. So interrupted sleep, poor quality sleep, waking up every few hours interrupts your body's metabolic process. What you really want is deep REM sleep. You know, the kind where you're dreaming. So what are the things that help you get good quality sleep? All right. And what are the things you want to stay away from? Well, if you eat moderately, you'll be more likely to sleep well. Overeating interferes with your sleep. You know that. Being stuffed after a holiday makes it hard to sleep later on. And if you actually want to exercise, that physical movement actually helps you sleep better as well. Now, here is one little health tip that you should know about. You might be actually having difficulty getting quality sleep if you snore at night. So if your bed partner tells you that you're snoring, you might want to get it checked out by a doctor, because the reason that you're snoring might be interfering with your quality sleep and might therefore be interfering with your body's ability to be able to burn down harmful visceral fat. Now, what could be going on when you're snoring? Well, there's something called sleep apnea. And sleep apnea is basically where you've got excess tissue in the back of your throat, all right? And it could actually be a type of visceral fat. And what that does is it sags down, because when you're sleeping, you're relaxed, and that fat also relaxes and it blocks your airway. Now you're not actually getting enough oxygen, and you're not breathing properly when you're falling asleep, when you're fully relaxed. Cuts off the airflow, you suddenly startle and wake up, and you're never quite getting a good night's sleep. When you're not getting a good night's sleep, you're not burning harmful visceral fat. This situation, sleep apnea, is common, and it's a very serious condition because it sets up for heart conditions, lung conditions. And a heart condition you want to really watch out for is something called atrial fibrillation. It's a heart rhythm tied to sleep apnea, okay? And so in order to be able to deal with your sleep apnea, you should talk to your medical doctor, get a sleep workup, and there are ways that actually you can actually reverse sleep apnea and actually get back to better quality sleep. That's it. 5 things that keep you from losing visceral fat. Hope you've enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.
Hi there. If you enjoyed watching this video, I know you'll love the next one. Stay here and check it out, and I'll see you there.